Hey, I'm John Henderson with HH Law, and today I have asked two of our paralegals, family law paralegals, to come up with a list of things that we must know from our clients. All right, as I mentioned in the intro, I haven't even looked at them yet. So this is brand new to me, but I asked two of our family law paralegals to come up with a list of things that we must know about our clients to try to help them the best we can. And a lot of times, the reason this comes up is because a lot of times clients do not tell us everything that we need to know. We say, hey, tell us everything, and they withhold information from us. So let's see what these two ladies have to say about things that we need clients to tell us. Point number one, do you do drugs? Yes. If you do drugs, or you have in the past, or there's a video from college or whatever it is of excessive drinking, excessive drug use, chances are that it's not going to be a big deal. But we need to know about it. Your lawyers need to know everything about you in your case. I mean, not everything, but we need to know a lot, anything that could come up during the course of litigation, because the last thing we need is to be showing up in front of a judge and the judge saying, hey, do a hair follicle test by tomorrow afternoon. And we're like, wait, what is that? And now we've got, a situation on our hands and you lose custody and we never knew about it. We could easily guard against some of those things. All right, let's see point number two. Does your spouse have any footage or evidence that they would use against you in court? This is another big one. I have, our other lawyers have stood in court and had to listen to videos and see videos that are absolutely horrendous. And that happens a lot of times at what's called a temporary hearing, that we get there. And this is a little bit like the Wild Wild West, the temporary hearings, because we don't have a lot of information about the other side, vice versa. And so we've been in the power position before where we get the video footage, but we've also been on the other side of that. We could avoid that hearing altogether if we knew that it was like a really bad video or recording or something that your spouse is going to use against you in that hearing. Another thing, is there an open social services case? You wouldn't believe the number of times that there's an open DSS, Department of Social Services case. CPS is the other way that it's referred to, Child Protective Services. There's an ongoing case and we don't know about it for like weeks. And that's something that we need to get their file on day one to find out, are these legitimate allegations that are being made against our client or not? So always tell your lawyer if there's an open Child Protective Services or social services case against you or against your spouse. Are any of your spouse's claims true? If the spouse is claiming adultery, we need to know if that's true or not. If the spouse is claiming habitual drunkenness, we need to know, even if you don't think you're an alcoholic or using drugs too much, even if you're just smoking weed and you think that's not a big deal, it doesn't affect my ability to be a dad, we need to know about it. Let us help you determine whether or not that's a big deal or not. You've hired us. You've hired a lawyer to give you advice. Give them the information. Okay, so that's the last one from the first paralegal. Now we're on to the big sticky note. Let's see what this has to say. Have you cheated, and are you currently cheating? So you wouldn't believe it. We will be months into a case and learn from opposing counsel that our client has a girlfriend or a boyfriend. We need to know that on day one so we can counsel you on what kind of exposure we have and help you understand and navigate whatever is going on. You're an adult. We're not telling you what to do, but we need to know exactly what's going on in your romantic life. Again, we see the alcohol, drugs, physical abuse, any of those things that can be used against you. Has any of this stuff taken place before in the past? If there's a video of you pushing your spouse to the ground, we need to know that that video exists. If there's a video of you pulling a John Belushi and just chugging a whole bottle of bourbon. We need to know that that video exists. So tell us about any evidence out there that is going to reflect poorly on you. Have you ever been arrested? We need to know that. That's a great question. That people think the past is the past, and a lot of times it is. But we will determine whether or not we think that that's something that gives you exposure to negative consequences in court, something we need to be prepared to answer a lot of times, or whether we think it's totally irrelevant that you got, a drinking ticket back when you were in your early 20s. We need to know all of the property that you have together and independently. A lot of times clients will think, oh, this isn't marriage property, so I don't have to tell my lawyer about it. That's a mistake. Tell us everything, all the property that you owned and that you're associated with. And if you are associated with property that's like family property, we need to know about that as well so that we can try to do things to protect you in all ways possible. Oh, this is a good one. What is your employment status? And if you lose your job during the course of our representation, we need to know about that. We want to know about it because we want to know if we're going to keep getting paid. That's one thing. The other thing is whether or not you're going to be able to actually make these child support payments, because we can do a lot. And I'm thinking of a case where we were able to, our guy lost his job during the course of litigation, but we were able to negotiate pushing off the child support payments for several months while we started a new position with a new company. But if we don't know about that, then we're going to run the risk of you being held in contempt. And we're going to go, what do you mean you didn't pay your child support payments the last 2 months? If we knew that you weren't going to be able to do that, we might be able to negotiate something for you. And this is a big one we get roped into. We sign up a client, we ask them a lot of questions, and then we find out that there is some sort of criminal hearing coming up, or there's a family court temporary hearing coming up that we didn't know about. And so that'll happen. Usually under like urgent circumstances. They're here with money in our office, signing an agreement with us, and we don't know anything about this hearing, despite the fact that we try to ask, and we do ask to tell us everything, even about upcoming hearings, but we find out that there is a hearing that is going to be taking place. Tell your lawyer if there's an upcoming hearing. Whether you think it's relevant or not, we need to know. Any sort of hearing. Next on the list here is the ultimate goals. What is your goal? You need to figure out in your mind what is your primary goal and secondary goals for the outcome of this case. Tell us what those are. It's not fair to us when we find out that really primary custody is not something that you were really after. And we have just spent $10,000 fighting for custody. If your thing is money, tell us it's money. If your thing is custody, tell us it's custody. Tell us your primary goals. Last one, children. How many children do you have? Sometimes people come in and we know, obviously we ask in our intake, like how many children of this marriage? There might be 2, but you might have a child of a previous marriage who is an adult or a child living with, your ex. An assortment of different ways that this can pan out. But we need to know if you're paying child support. We need to know if you have other children. We need to know whether or not you lost custody in a previous custody battle to your ex, and that will impact the way that this case works out as well. Anyway, those are some of the things that pop up from time to time, in fact, probably daily, that our paralegals deal with that we wish we knew on day one about your case. I'm John Henderson, a lawyer in Charleston, South Carolina. Our law firm is specifically here, but this advice, I hope, is tangible for people who live outside of the state of South Carolina. But if you have a question about any family law related issues and you live in the state of South Carolina, come see us. If you live outside the state, go find a lawyer in your home jurisdiction so that they can give you the best advice available. I'm John Henderson, and this is HH Law.